Welcome to the Board Game Snobs podcast. Critically harsh reviews with a touch of class.
Go.
And welcome to the best podcast that you could possibly be listening to at this very moment. This is Jerry. This is the Board Game Snobs podcast. With us, as always, is our host.
Hey, this is Gabby. What's going on, everybody? That's a positive tone I come in with. Hey, upbeat, charming.
And to counter that, we have a special guest, Dan Hughes.
I'm more upbeat than Gabby. I'm more upbeat than Gabby. Gabby, he sounded like he was half asleep then. Okay, you're depressed and upset about doing a podcast with me, Gabby.
Being outshined by the internet titan, of course.
Oh, yeah.
I don't think... it's more like we complement each other. Dan is the yin to our yang, the woo to our tang.
Can you say that? In these
Yes.
days?
The Wu-Tang?
No.
Wu-Tang Clan?
Yin to the yang? Can you say that?
Can you? It's a thing.
I don't know. Everything scares me.
If not-
Everything scares me these days.
If not, Dad made me say it.
He said it in his show notes. I noticed I was listening to Ben talk to Mike, and they constantly referred to, in the notes that you sent me, I'm like, what are these notes and what do you do with them?
Ben makes you do when you go on 5 Games to Doomsday, Ben makes you do an entire biography that he can cross-check, and so it's a very rigorous, intensive process. Not when he does the guild with what we like to call the Z-listers.
The B-list,
When he does, the A-listers who've been on his main program, then you
Never made it to the
biography
A-list.
and everything. No, you won't, and you never will, Gabby.
Are you drinking?
Yeah.
Do you know why graham crackers were invented?
For s'mores? I don't know.
They were invented.
Is it the same as cornflakes?
Yeah, cornflakes was to prevent masturbation.
Very similar.
But-
were invented as a method to stop people experiencing sexual desires. That's why
How does that
Mom
work?
and Dad used to keep heavy stock in graham crackers. Not for me, but for them. They were crazy kids.
I never did understand the cornflake thing, nor this now. Like, how does it prevent?
You glue them to your hands. Jerry. That's how it stops you. Then it's just too uncomfortable.
It says that Reverend Graham, thus the graham crackers, a Presbyterian minister, became obsessed with healthy living and the idea of sexual desire was sinful and could even cause physical ailments. So he created this healthy cracker because he thought like fat and all that stuff added to your lustful desires.
It does for me.
We don't have those crackers in the UK, by the way. So that's
The pH
why
fat.
we are such good
What?
lovers.
The British good lovers? You're all a bunch of Hugh Grants over there, aren't you?
Well, just you wait till I meet you, Jerry, and then I'll show you a thing or two. I will rock your
No, you better
world,
eat some graham
Jerry.
crackers then.
When we finally meet, Jay will come with a big suitcase of graham crackers.
I'm stifling my desires.
That's it. I'm over the age of 45, Joe. You don't need to worry
They got
about
pills for that now.
me. So I hear.
Did you know that artists from 17th, 18th century, I guess 19th century even, used to use mummies?
One of the
Mummies?
centuries.
They would dip their brush in mummies for their flesh-toned browns. Anybody? Nobody?
So, like the juices of mummies? What are you talking about?
Says they relied heavily on a popular pigment of the time, mummy brown, a concoction made from ground-up Egyptian mummies. Often used in the flesh tone, no pun intended.
That's pretty grim. That's pretty good. So Gabby, being the expert, the international art expert you are, which paintings that I may have heard of?
There's one called Interior of a Kitchen, where it has two young women in bonnets sitting by shelves of crockery, and there's various shades of brown, and apparently in those shades of brown is mummy, whatever.
That is
Mummy juice.
pretty gross. Well, I've just typed that in, and all I've got is kitchen show.
Type in mummy crockery. See what you get.
But it wasn't just artists that used ground-up mummies. Since the 12th century, Europeans, that would be you, Dan, had been eating Egyptian mummies as medicine.
I am a European. It's delicious. It is delicious. I sprinkle it on my graham crackers
on your beans and toast.
Yeah. It comes pre-packed in this bandage. You just take the bandage off. You just do it slowly, so you just it keeps it fresh. So you just peel off the bit you need, and then get the grater and just grate it off onto your cornflakes.
Just like Mom used to make.
Lovely.
It came to a point. It says in later centuries, they didn't even bother with the mummified corpses. They went with unmummified corpses as mummy medicine.
Well, they're just dead bodies, surely. They're just dead bodies.
Gnawing on a dead body.
Is that cannibalism?
I think
Isn't
so.
that just cannibalism, surely?
Apparently, as I read the article, this is not Best Life Online, Jerry. This is sciencehistory.org.
Oh, nice. .org gives it credence.
So it says it apparently goes back to a misunderstanding of translation and Persian words and all this stuff. Apparently one of the translations of bitumen,
I know about that. The wife is always crapping at me.
Apparently, one of its translations was mumia or mumia, M-U-M-I-A, and somehow something got lost in translation, and they went from eating bitumen to actual mummies.
Why would you eat bitumen in the first place? Isn't that just like tar?
They said in the ancient world, it has been known to carry some medicinal values that are legit. I recommend you look up sciencehistory.org on this article, Dan, and it's quite disturbing.
I think you're trying to tempt me into cannibalism again, Gabby.
I mean, it's all the rage in 15th century Europe.
That's the thing. Me and Mike have this discussion every time one of us has been on your show. It's like, did they try and tempt you into cannibalism again, Mike? Yes, they did. They're constantly trying to get me to eat people.
With some fava beans and a good Chianti.
Yeah, that's it.
The last one I had, did you know, again, dealing with your people, Dan.
Europeans.
Oh, okay. Hope not European. We better not say European because we're not in Europe anymore.
It's all Europe.
Adrift.
Now they're United Kingdom.
We Brexited.
You know why pubs had weird names back in the day?
No, I don't. That is it. This is genuinely interesting. Unless
oh,
well,
you didn't find
I'm
cannibalism interesting?
I knew it'd get back onto cannibalism eventually.
It says basically due to the illiteracy. So you could write a name on there and nobody's going to know what it says. You could put saloon or pub, but let's draw, if you had boot and castle, a boot and a castle, they would draw a boot and a castle and that's the name of the pub, Boot and Castle.
That makes a lot of sense.
So due to the illiterate, they just put pictures on there. So it all came down to how much this person could draw. Can you draw a thirsty traveler? No, but I can draw a boat. I can draw a castle.
Why are they Australian? I'm going to play pub cricket.
I can draw a box.
Do you know, I don't think... yeah, okay, I'm stunned.
That's why you have weird pub names over there.
That's interesting. That is genuinely interesting. I never thought of it that way, but that's probably right. Have you ever, when you come to the UK, I know Jerry's been to the UK, did you play pub cricket, Jerry, when you came to the UK?
I have not.
The answer is, well, you should. You should.
What is that?
In the days before children had iPads in the car and could watch various YouTube programs as they drove down the highways and byways of the UK, whenever you pass a pub, you see the name of it, and then for as many legs as the thing in the pub name, so it was like the King Henry, that's got 2 legs, and the Horse and Hounds, well then you could say there's at least 1 horse, and there's a horse and at least 2 hounds, so that's 12 legs, so that would be 12 points. But if you go past a pub where there's no legs, like the hinge and bracket,
I could draw that.
Do it, baby. Then you're out. So there you go. I'm just telling you some interesting English car games.
We play this game in America, and I don't know if y'all do it over there because of the cars, but we have these things called Volkswagens, which were made by
Volkswagens are German, you fool.
Yeah, the Germans, they brought them over here, and so a lot of people drive them. And so anytime you see one, It doesn't matter what the ethnicity of the driver is. It's just if there's a Volkswagen on the road, you yell slug bug, and you're allowed to physically assault a person in the car with you. You are allowed to strike
Even
them.
if they're driving?
Even if they're driving. Yes, it's very dangerous.
Ah.
Well, but it's based on the Volkswagen Beetle, which is a bug.
Yeah.
So you would say slug bug.
Which was
and
designed by Hitler.
no comment.
What was that?
It was. Well, it wasn't. It was commissioned by Hitler anyway. I think Hitler had something to do with the design and the commissioning of a Volkswagen Beetle. Or that could be completely false, and you're going to get sued by the Volkswagen company. Either way, that's.
Let me go to sciencehistory.org and confirm that.
Yeah, confirm that. Type in Hitler and bug and see what comes up.
Hitler and bugs.
I'm trying to help you.
Yeah.
But no, I did not play pub cricket, but I will certainly do so next time. I went to the Nag's Head when I was there.
That would get you 4 points.
Ooh, how do you draw the nag?
It wouldn't get you any points actually because it's a nag's head. So a nag is a horse, obviously. So it'd just be the horse's head.
That was not obvious to me. I didn't know a nag was a horse.
So are you still looking up Hitler and Beatles?
No, my phone crashed when I put in Hitler, so I'm done.
Fair enough.
Hitler Beatles.
Probably a good thing.
That's all I got, Jerry.
I know you've got.
That's all you got. That was your best.
That's all I got.
So in 5 minutes, we've talked about.
It's 13. 13 minutes.
Well, I've taken notes for us. So far, we've talked about graham cracker masturbation, mummy coloring, and Hitler Beatles. So this has been a good.
And I'm on here to plug a kids game as well. I'd like to point out I'm on here to plug a kids game.
Oh wait, I do have a question for y'all. This is just okay. Some observations, not even questions. Observations.
Can I comment on these observations, or am I?
Yes,
just
sir.
Okay.
Yes. Why would you not be able to comment?
I don't know. Sometimes you don't like my comments.
I never like your comments because you're always mean to me.
Well, it's point taken. Go ahead.
Okay, so as a shopper in Walmart, I acquire various items for other people. What monster drinks high pulp orange juice? Not here. And apparently by your silence, neither of you.
I like the pulp. Not gonna lie.
I don't mind. I like.
Oh, it's disgusting.
No.
Do you not like to chew when you drink?
I don't like to chew. No.
You've never drank a Guinness. You gotta have that pulp. That's good fiber. And see what fiber does is that helps clean out your colon. So I like that high pulp orange juice. I call that pulp fiction. Friction. Pulp friction.
Oh, Pulp Friction. Nice.
I should have known. I should have known you would like high pulp. When I said what monster, and Jerry chimes in.
Yeah. No, I like a bit of pulp. I've never seen a high pulp.
Oh, they've got high pulp. They
that's
load
new
it
to me.
down. It's like you're basically eating cereal. Speaking of,
tasty.
huh?
I said tasty. Sorry.
Well,
Carry on.
Speaking of,
We're getting some lag. You keep telling me to put the hand up, and I can't find the hand up button, so I'm just.
That's
interrupting
okay.
you.
Your vision's
I'm too
blurred.
excited to be. I'm too excited to be on this podcast.
High pulp orange juice, which I keep in my Uma thermos.
Oh dear.
that was a good one.
It was. Took him a minute to work it out. And I had a paper and a pencil.
I'm drinking.
But it's still a good one.
I'll edit it in a more close proximity to the actual conversation.
Okay, that's a good idea.
Speaking of cereal, when you pour your cereal, are you milk first or cereal first?
What? Well, who would put milk in first?
I agree. People do.
Well, that is weird.
It's along the same conversation of when you do the laundry in your dishwasher, laundry machine. Do you put your clothes in first or the water first?
Well,
Yeah, I don't put water in my.
We don't put
We don't put water in our dishwasher.
No, I don't put water in. That
And
does
a
it
washing
automatically.
machine. When you're washing your clothes in your washing machine, do you put the water in first or your clothes?
I think your analogy is flawed. But I will say this: there are certain
No, it's
times.
the same for me.
There are certain times where you will, and I know this is brave of me to say, and I'll come out and say it. You will put your milk in first if you have a certain type of cereal that gets soggy quickly and also has high buoyancy, so it'll kind of float. So you won't do that with your frosted mini wheats or any type of frosted, any type of wheat. You want that stuff to be soaked if you're going to eat it. But there are certain cereals that you don't want soggy. I'm thinking of you. What's that? Golden Graham Crunch. Various other ones that you kind of want to float.
Oh, you like that graham cracker, do you?
Oh yeah, okay, yeah.
I like to eat a little bit in the morning, kind of tamp me down throughout the day, you know.
keep it at a reason. About 40%.
40% there. Take about
Now with added bromide.
take about 20% off. You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying?
20% off. No,
I'm talking about arousal.
It lets you sit down comfortably, doesn't it, Jerry? Lets you have a nice sit down. You're able to sit down properly then, aren't you?
Right.
I like most of my cereals soggy.
It doesn't surprise me about you. I want to get back to this laundry machine thing. You don't put water in a British laundry machine.
No.
You don't?
It goes in automatically. The machine puts it in for you.
I know, but I know people that will start the machine and let it fill up the tank with water, then put their clothes in like savages.
Oh, well, we don't. That's top loading. We don't have top loading laundry machines in the UK. We have front loading laundry machines.
Right.
In our kitchens, which always disgusts Americans.
Fancy. That's for fancy people here in the States.
Yeah. We're not like you where we go down to the river and get 2 stones and start
flog them on rocks.
Yeah, that's it, yeah. Like you do in Texas. We've got electricity.
I didn't eat my graham crackers today. I got to go flog my pants on some rocks.
Yeah.
I don't know where to go from there. It's kind of a...
I don't know. Just go.
Dead end. That's the end of the podcast.
CoraQuest. Bye.
Backing out.
Oh yeah. So we're going to talk about CoraQuest? Because
we can. I don't need to talk. Yes, we can do. Yes, because that's the reason you've got up. Your wonderful support and very kind offer of allowing me to shill on your podcast is why Jerry is now drinking at 10 a.m.
It's working out. It's working
to
out.
accommodate my time zone.
So this CoraQuest game, for which I didn't inspire the game, I just inspired you to make it, which is enough.
It's true. I came on the last time I was on the Board Game Snobs podcast, and you asked me, do you ever want to design a board game? And I said, no, Jerry, don't be ridiculous. What a foolish question to ask a man of my standing. Board gaming designing is not for me. And then the next day, I went out and designed a board game that's going to come to Kickstarter tomorrow, 1st of February. So it won't be tomorrow for people who listen to this. It'll be already on Kickstarter, hopefully.
I'll put this out as fast as I can.
Oh, well, that's fine. That's fine. I designed a board game with my daughter, despite saying I would never design a board game. But it wasn't intended to be a proper board game at the time. It was intended just as a way of passing some time and doing a bit of educational stuff while we're in the midst of lockdown. Something to do creatively together. And then the wonderful Gary King, who's an artist of great talent and skill, he for a joke put up a box cover of CoraQuest as I was talking about it on Facebook a little bit, and then suddenly I got inspired to make this thing a reality. So yeah, this family dungeon crawling board game I've created with my 8-year-old daughter, and also created with a whole raft of playtesters who've made some very incredible suggestions, which actually turned it from a relatively substandard game into a really, really positively good game. It's coming to Kickstarter, guys. Coming to Kickstarter. I'm like, if it funds, I'll be like a proper. You'll have to bow when you see me. Oh, he's above us. He's one of these board game designers, not one of these media people, not one of these media scum. He's actually contributing to the world, not leeching off it.
Before we get you on next time, we'll have to talk to your people first, and they'll have to approve.
You
this.
will,
yeah.
My agent,
Mike Delicious Toes, your agent.
Yeah, he loves it. You know, he loves you talking about his toes all the time. He can't get enough of it. He says,
"Well, the reason we talk about it is to warn people, because it was something that he hid." And then once he stopped eating his cornflakes and his graham crackers, he just went off the rails. And I got tired of his constant petitions for pedal pictures. Boy, that rhymed. Anyways.
Yeah.
If there's one thing we know how to do, it's run a joke into the ground.
Yeah. Well, there's a theory with humour, isn't it? It's like you do it once, it's funny, then you do it again, it's not funny. But if you do it 100 to 200 more times, it becomes funny again. And I think that you're the living embodiment of that.
So I
repeat until funny.
I do.
Yeah.
That's what. No, never mind. I have a legitimate question about your game and Kickstarter. So, like, all right, you get. Let's just say, all right, who is making this game? The physical copies? Are you like printing off each one in your basement, or?
Cora is. Cora and his other children are piecing together this game as we speak.
They're chained together in the basement and hand drawing each one like some kind of Benedictine monks. No, they're China. China's doing it. China, hopefully, if it gets funded.
I thought
Someone in China. I don't know.
I thought she stopped wrestling some time ago.
That's a very American-centric joke. I'd like to point out.
Do you know who China is in the wrestling world?
I do.
Okay, so then it's not so American-centric.
It's only because I'm unfortunately friends with some Americans. That's the only reason I know why. And they're just constantly going on about her. No, my friend Mark Cook, who's his profession is a board game project manager for Plastic Soldier Company, but he used to be the CEO of Hush Hush Games, who did Fog of Love. So he knows what he's doing in the board game world. He's managing all that side of things. So we have got a manufacturer lined up with proper quotes and everything. There's even a spreadsheet, guys. I've seen it. There's even a spreadsheet about costs and shipping and all sorts and stretch goals and all sorts of stuff. It's got numbers in and all sorts of stuff.
So is this game only going to be distributed around the UK, or will it be able to be shipped to America?
No, shipped to America. Yeah. We're shipping. We've got shipping partners. That's on the spreadsheet too. So it'll be custom free and all that kind of stuff. So anyone can get hold of it. Yeah, it's like a regular board game. It's not. I'm doing it properly. I'm not just creating it in my on my kitchen. Well, it was originally created on my kitchen table, but it's a proper board game. It's got professionally printed custom dice. It's got custom dice. I can tell you haven't looked at the flipping website.
There's a website. You know what's big?
I gave you a sneak.
Here's what
I gave you a sneak preview of that Kickstarter page. Only a select 1,000 have seen that.
I was about to get on to the artwork, and is there suggestive artwork in it, or is it family friendly?
It's family friendly. All the art is done by kids in this game. So it's either done by Cora or it's done by other kids from our Facebook community. Have sent us pictures of monsters and drawings and all that kind of stuff. And so there's actually snuck in there without us making a big deal of it. There's some artwork from the kids of various board game personalities as well. So there you go. Eric Sumner's got Eric Sumner's son's got some artwork in there. Roy Kennedy, he's got some artwork in there. His kids have got some artwork in there. So it's all done by friends and people who and then Gary has coloured them in to kind of make it all unified. So it's a really. I'm being all jokey and stuff, but I really believe in this. So all the kids in our Facebook community and also Cora did a lot of the artwork as well, and they sent it in, and then Gary has kind of coloured it in really, and made it look really. I mean, the artwork is just charming in my opinion. As I say, I know I'm very biased about this game, and I know I get quite passionate about it.
Swimmingly.
So how did you get to the point that you knew you could take advantage of child labor?
Well, the laws in the UK are very lax on child labour, and as long as you're related to them, you can exploit kids for as much money as you humanly can. So that's a benefit. But no, it has been a bit of a balancing act between what Cora's been enthusiastic to do, and I didn't want to make her do more than she wants to. So a lot of the play testing I've done either on my own or sent it out to friends with kids and things like that, because what I didn't want to do is make Cora play the same game over and over again until she's sick of her own game. That would be a real shame. But it's quite an engaging game anyway. It's quite an exciting game. She does still enjoy the game. I just haven't made her play it 3 times in a day like I've been playing it to kind of refine it and things like that.
Quick question.
Yeah, go
on. So it's a cooperative design between you and Cora. What did Cora do? Cora
came up with the initial concept. She wanted to design a dungeon crawling game. She decided on all the heroes. She decided on their powers, with some support from myself. But, we kind of brainstormed it, but she decided on it all. She basically decided on most of the mechanics in that, I gave her options that she could take, and she chose from I gave her like 3 options on how to do line of sight, and she went for the one that she felt was best. So she's been, as far as an 8-year-old can be, she's been an integral part all the way through. It's not just her name on the box, nothing else. She's definitely contributed, because this was, as I say, this didn't start as an attempt to design a game to bring to Kickstarter. It started as an attempt to do something creative together, and so obviously she had full involvement in that, because that's the entire purpose of it, really.
What's your profit margin?
Well, about 98%, I'm thinking. The trick with Kickstarter is, you see, you don't actually have to deliver the product. It's all in the small print. So as long as you've got a good enough marketing thing. No, I don't know. The profit margin's pretty small, especially if we only just fund. If we only just fund, I'm out about 700 quid, to be honest, because I've spent all that. Yeah, but I mean, I don't mind that, because it's been trickling. It's one of those situations where if money trickles out of your account, you don't really notice it going. If I had to spend £700, but that's like for various things like the website and the prototypes and all sorts of stuff like that, and post it. I mean, it's cost me £50 per prototype to post them off to reviewers and things like that. So if it only just funds, then I won't get much of that back, but it will go out to people, and that's what I really care about, is it being in the hands of other people, and having a kind of legacy for Cora. And I'll also, if it only just funds, 400 copies will go out and 600 copies will get delivered to my house. So I don't know what I'm going to do with them, but because the minimum order is 1,000.
Donated to libraries. Very nice.
You donate to libraries, and they can donate that to the bin, no doubt. No. Yes, I think we'll donate it to various places. But yeah, no, but it's not about that, to be honest. It's not about the money. It's about having a project that we started in a really crappy year, and then Cora being able to look back on that year as not as the year of absolute drudgery, but as a year that we did this, and she'll always have something to show for it, and that's what I'm really excited about. I can't even remember what I've said. Have I said what actually the game is? A cooperative dungeon crawling game aimed at families. Did I say that?
Right. So the characters, it's like kids crawling through a dungeons being killed in horrific ways. Is that correct?
Yeah. Well, no, we don't get killed in CoraQuest. You get defeated in CoraQuest, and you don't kill anybody else. You just defeat them. But kids like violence anyway. Let's face it.
Respawn.
Star Wars is a U-rated film, and yet someone gets his arm chopped off, and you see it bloody on the floor. I don't know if you. It's.
What's a U-rated film?
Universal, so you don't even need your parent. So there's it's the one under PG. You've got PG over there, haven't you?
We have G.
What does G stand for?
It's general, the general population.
Right. Yeah. So U is the one. It's usually the one that a Disney film is released under, or something like that. U is like the lowest classification you can get. That you don't. They're saying a parent doesn't need to look over this to see whether it's appropriate for their little delicate lotus petals.
And Star Wars had near incest.
Well, you didn't know that at the time, did you? To be fair, that's Gabby's defense. What?
Most incestuous up. Most of Disney stuff here is PG. Like our standards are a little higher than the Europeans, y'all. Things, whatever goes over there is not necessarily what flies over here.
You just said you didn't have PG.
We have
PG, and you said, "What's that?"
We have PG, we have PG-13, and we have G, which is for general audiences. We don't have something that's universally accepted. Like, even general audiences is like, still yet, there might be something in there.
You Brits are always putting a U in places that it doesn't belong.
Oh, very good, very good. Well, I was just going to claim that you Americans are always claiming things count for larger bodies, like the World Series, where only America plays. Mr. Universe, what's all that about? How do you know?
Hey, Arnold is from Austria.
With all the kangaroos and stuff.
Yeah, g'day, mate. Another shrimp on the barbie.
Yeah, that's it, yeah.
Austria, that's a Dumb and Dumber. It's Austria, huh? Put another shrimp on the barbie.
I always think of you guys as being very very similar to Dumb and Dumber, to be honest. That's the kind of bracket I've got you in. The Dumb and Dumber of the podcasting world.
So you're saying there's a chance.
It's a good film, that, wasn't it? Real classic.
Dumb and Dumber is one of those films, like a lot of 90s films don't hold up. The Mask, not funny to me anymore. Even Ace Ventura, not that funny,
I think Dumb and Dumber isn't zany. That's the issue. The Mask and Ace Ventura were zany. And zany's always a bit wearisome, to be honest.
Yeah.
If anyone ever describes themselves as zany, you know you need to try and get away from them as quickly as possible. You got to watch out for me. I'm a bit zany. You're the most boring person in the world.
Just a couple of wild and crazy guys.
Wild and crazy guys. If you declare anything, this is an ongoing thing with me and Jerry. We always say we like to have fun here because I've worked in places, I've been in places where people are like, well, we like to have fun here. Run. It's the exact opposite. They don't like to have fun.
Yes, exactly. We're like a big family here. No, you're not, are you? You're going to exploit me. You're going to exploit the workers.
Everyone hates you.
Yeah. Well, that'd be my family anyway, so that's fine.
Back to CoraQuest, because I had more questions regarding the design
still
process.
on CoraQuest?
Yes.
Okay,
because
okay.
I want to know the struggles that you went through as a designer. Like, how did you, from the beginning, and getting this set up on Kickstarter, I think that's really the thing that holds back a lot of people who have these ideas for board games, is that all the hoops you have to jump through for getting quotes and so forth and so on. So walk us down that.
Well, in that regard, the issue is, Jerry, I'm in an incredibly privileged position, and I recognise that. And to some extent, that privileged position is one of my own making, in that I've been in this space, as people like to call it, for a long time now. I've been making board game media content. I've been making friends all over the world. If you were a horrendous human being, you'd call it networking. I wouldn't call it networking at all, because it's never been with the aim of getting things out of people. But I've made a lot of friends. I've made a lot of friends over the years, and it left me in a unique position to ruthlessly exploit those friends for everything I possibly could. And so basically, it's not been that hard because I've known people who've known stuff. Like I know Gary, who's great at art. I've known Mark, who's very good at logistics and all the business side of things. And so I could tap into those skills. So if it wasn't for Gary and Mark, this would never get off the ground because I'd just be incompetent, basically. And I've been very happy doing the design and the marketing to some extent, because there are areas where I feel confident in. But I wouldn't be able to, if I'd had to, if I had to commission an artist and work out quotes and all that kind of stuff, I'd be dead in the water and it would never have happened. So I haven't really got an answer how other people can do it, because I've just been very lucky in that I've known people who can help me. And people have been incredibly generous with their time. We've got a lady called Ruth, and who has done a lot of the proofreading, and also Mike the Pillock Pool. He's done a lot of the proofreading as well. There's Gary, there's a guy called Cameron who made a tabletop simulator mod, and a friend called Bob who's made actually an app for us where you can design, you upload your own picture and you can design your own character for CoraQuest and then print it off, and then you've got a character card and then a standee for it, and it's absolutely fantastic. But you could never have done that without these people. So just like it takes a village to raise a child, it's taken a village to make this board game. And I think that's one of the things I really like about it, the kind of community feel behind it all. I don't think you guys can hear me, to be honest. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I'm listening intently.
All right, okay. You might have to edit that bit out then, Gabby.
I'm here. I'm you're just talking a lot and I'm listening. Hey there, listeners. Gabby here, editor-in-chief of the podcast. Although Jerry's been doing some editing here lately himself, so very nice. Just wanted to, Dan asked this question, partly because we were losing him throughout this podcast. The internet connection was very, very bad, so we lost large swaths of what he said on our ends. But, Dan, he just kept on talking, and so at one point he asked, are we still there, are we listening? And unfortunately, we heard that part and we were able to chime in. But fortunately, we were all recording on our own side and able to piece this together. So thank you for bearing with us. And hopefully you don't notice the issue until I have just now put a statement out there. So you're welcome, Dan, for being able to talk without interruption. And now that I've interrupted, you may proceed.
Oh, that's fine. That's fine. I do tend to talk a lot, so that's okay. They're the bits in the podcast that I'll like the most, the bits where I talk. So, but design challenges. Now, what I did find was that with the playtesting thing, because I'm a very petty man, when people used to send me negative feedback, it used to have to take about 2 or 3 hours for me to come down off my huff and and accept that they may have a point, and then change the game. So that was interesting. I hadn't quite realised how vital to the... I mean, I knew theoretically, but how practically vital to the entire development of the game the playtesters are, because the game is infinitely better than it was before the playtesting process started.
Well, can you give us an example of like something you liked in the game, but then somebody said, meh?
Yeah, we'll lose all the nudity.
Well, one of the things, not particularly liked in the game, but one of the things was that somebody came back to me and said, my daughter's getting quite upset whenever she misses. It's a dungeon crawling game, so you're fighting bad guys and all that kind of stuff. You want to do a dungeon fighting orcs and things. And my daughter's getting quite upset whenever she misses. And my instant reaction was, as any right-thinking person would be, was, well, your daughter needs to get a grip, for goodness sake. You know, it's a dungeon crawler. Get a life. You have to... Sometimes life gives you lemons. But then, after I'd kind of come down off my kind of indignation of this person's daughter's...
Righteous indignation.
How dare they criticize my game?
This game is flawless.
In all fairness, his daughter was 23, so...
I sent you this game for some some critical feedback, and you've given me negative stuff. You're only meant to say how wonderful it is. How dare you? So after I'd mulled that over in my head for a bit, I ended up doing a system where basically you roll a number of dice in order to hit something, and then if you miss, then you flip over your card and you become determined. So you decide, I missed that time, I really must hit this time, and you roll more dice the next time. So it gives a kind of little consolation prize, I suppose, if you miss. And so that eases that disappointment in a child, because this is a game aimed. Well, it's a game aimed for parents to play with kids, or adults to play with kids rather than parents. It's a family game, but it's no fun if the child is upset because they can't hit something. So that little bit of a kind of, you missed, but you've got a lot better chance next time, and you might do 3 damage next time rather than 2. Just helps that along. And that's an element of the game which we got loads of positive feedback on. And Cora absolutely adores, but I don't think we'd have come up with that on our own without that bit of feedback. So it's just interesting how every kind of round of playtesting led to a eureka moment for us, for me, and for Cora. When we, because what I do is I bring the feedback back to her, and then say, so how these are the ways I've thought we could solve this. How do you think? Which one do you prefer? And she'll go for, and we'll talk it through, and then move on from there.
Why did you choose to self-publish rather than go with another company? Have a company publish? I mean,
nobody would take it.
Yeah, well, no, actually, we did get some interest from some publishers. I think mainly because I'm quite a big deal on the internet. And,
quite a big deal. Perhaps you've heard of me. I'm
a bit of an internet titan. I was actually talking to a publisher about. They were sending me a game to review for Dan and Cora, and then I said, well, would you mind having a look at this and see what you think of it? And there was noises made, nowhere near a deal or anything like that, but noises. But Gary and I decided that we wanted to take it to Kickstarter because we wanted to do it our way. I was very keen that Gary stayed involved all the way through the project, so I didn't want a house artist to come in and take the art off him. But also that we wanted it to be a community project. One of the key things of this is that all the art in it's done by kids, Cora, but also kids from all over the world, from the kind of community that's built up around the game. And we wanted it to be something that we could make very customizable and have an area on our website where you can make your own monsters and you can make your own enemies, you can make your own stories. Everything is really customizable. There's lots in the box just to go on with if you don't want to do that. But if you want to make CoraQuest completely your own, as a family, this is my family's version of CoraQuest with our own heroes and adventures and characters and all sorts of stuff. You can do that. And we were just a bit worried that it would take a fight really to do that with a publisher. And we just thought, well, and we both fancy doing a Kickstarter. You see all these Kickstarters going, I think, well, it can't be that hard, can it? Can't be that hard, guys. Simon do it, and they're a bunch of idiots.
They've got minis though, and it's interesting that you decided not to have minis. Are you bring that out later? Are you going to have the...
No. Because the key thing with this game is that kids can make their own stuff and play with their own stuff in the game. And one thing a kid can't do is make a mini, but they can make standees. In fact, it's very easy to make a standee, and we've got this app which allows you to make your own standee as well. So, you design, you upload your picture, you choose what abilities or make your own abilities up on this app, and then you print it out, and it prints out a character card for you that looks all official, and it also prints out some standees for you to use.
So you can make your own standee. So you can have nudity in this game.
You can do if you want. Yeah, I'm very tempted to make an A-team version of CoraQuest where the A-team go battling monsters in the dungeon.
I don't want to see. I don't want to see a nude Mr. T.
But you want to see a nude Murdoch? Admit it.
But where are the metal coins?
Where are the metal coins? Well, Gabby, what you do is reach into your trouser pocket.
Trousers?
Yeah.
What am I, Wallace and Gromit? I don't have trousers.
Pants, then. You know pants mean underpants in the UK. I didn't want you to tell you to reach into your pants.
I didn't know that. Pants mean underpants? Those are that's your underwear.
Yeah, and we do have the word underwear as well. But if you said, I'm going to buy some pants, people would think you were going to buy some underwear.
So when Bob Barker says, reach into my pants and get $100, nobody will want.
It's hilarious. It's hilarious. Which is why the game this game is broken. We had a game called In My Pants, where you say that I don't know if you've heard this. You say the name of a board game and then you say In My Pants afterwards, and it makes it hilarious. Like Feast for Odin, In My Pants, etc. Which is why it's even funnier in the UK, because it's even ruder in the UK.
Age of Discovery, In My Pants.
There is no board game that doesn't make hilarious. Splendor, In My Pants. There's no. It's a fantastic
Dwellings of Everdale, In My Pants. Speaking of Kickstarters, they have Big Apple on Kickstarter, In My Pants. Big Apple.
What is Big Apple? Never heard of it. I'm so out of touch. Are you familiar with a Ricky Valance?
Ricky Valance and the Four Seasons.
I don't know. He sang the song "Tell Laura I Love Her."
Tell Laura I love her.
Yes.
No, I've never heard of it. Tell Laura I need her. Tell Laura not to cry. My love for her will never die.
Yes. Okay, so I heard that song when I was a boy, and I was like, "What is it?" Along the same time as the Everly Brothers' "Ebony Eyes." You ever heard that song?
No, I don't think I've heard that one.
Basically, a guy's like waiting for his future wife to come, but she dies in a plane crash.
cheery song.
Cheery song. So then Ray Peterson here in the States sings "Tell Laura I Love Her" about a young man who wants to marry Laura, but he needs some money, so he gets involved in a stock car race and then dies in a fiery crash as described in the song. Yes. So as they pull him from the gruesome fire, he's, near death. He's like, "Tell Laura I love her," as you you say it very well, Dan. I'm very impressed.
Thank you. I'll give you, there's another song like that as well. I'll give you a rendition of that later.
And it's like Laura and Tommy. He drove his car to the racing grounds.
Is there a point to this, by the way?
He was the youngest driver. I was just wondering if you were familiar with Ricky Valance, because apparently it was banned in the UK, and then Ricky Valance sang the UK version of it, even though Ray Peterson sang it here in the States. And I was just curious.
Oh, interesting. No, I didn't know Ricky Valance. No, yeah, I've definitely heard of Ricky Valance, but I didn't know it was banned in the UK. There's lots of things. The Exorcist was banned in the UK for a long time as well. Various things. And this is a tired old one, but you may not know it. Did you know that the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles weren't called that in the UK?
I heard this somewhere. I can't remember what they were called, though.
Yes. It was Teenage Mutant Hero Turtles because they were afraid that all the youth of the UK would suddenly start throwing stars around and getting there was a big problem with nunchucks for a while in my youth.
An influx of ninjas have entered the UK.
There was. I do definitely remember there was a big problem with nunchucks in the UK for a while.
Oh, man.
I remember when my brother was in school in the 80s, throwing stars were a big thing. Throwing stars. He had like 3 of them, and he would toss them. I'm like, why do you have that? Oh, no, everybody in school has them. So I don't know. They were inspired to be ninjas, maybe, by the Ninja Turtles.
You see, it's corrupting the children. We were right to call them hero turtles.
Think of the children. and also butterfly knives. My brother always had a butterfly knife.
Oh, yeah. Well, they're banned in the UK as well, butterfly knives.
Oh, those were so cool.
They are pretty cool. Although I always thought you'd probably end up taking off a finger or something like that. It looks a bit quick for me, butterfly knives.
I got pretty handy at it myself at a young age.
Oh, yeah.
I was looking to join the Jets.
One of those greasers.
Oh, did you see that Seth MacFarlane is wanting to remake Naked Gun starring Liam Neeson?
He's dead.
What do you think?
Liam Neeson's dead. How could you make it? He's dead.
You're thinking of Gandhi.
Not Leslie Nielsen, Liam Neeson.
Oh, Taken. I'm sorry.
Yes! What happened to Liam?
Sorry. I don't like this idea. I'm taken back by it, you could say.
It won't work, will it? It won't work. He'd be better off making his own spoof thing.
Well, I like Liam Neeson in it because Leslie Nielsen was a serious actor when he started making Airplane, but
it needs somebody who's going to be completely straight all the way through, isn't it?
Liam Neeson could do it, but Seth MacFarlane is not the director for this.
I don't know. He's done comedies.
Well, sure. Flashbacks.
It's not the Wayne brothers, is it? Are you wanting the Wayne brothers to do it? Because they're awful.
No. Taika Waititi.
Don't know that person. What did they direct?
Taika Waititi?
Taika, he did the Jojo Rabbits, but Taika's not who you want on that. I think you do want
Thor.
I think you do want McFarlane on it.
I guess.
Oh, he's the rock guy, isn't he? Yeah, I like him. Yeah, no, I think Seth. I don't think anyone needs to do it. To be honest, I don't think it'll work. I
I love that style of humor. I think it will work. It just needs the right director.
But do you really love that style? I mean, no, you do love that style of humor. Sorry, I wasn't saying you do really. But
how dare you question what I feel?
Do you really get me though? Oh, no, Naked Gun and Airplane were of their time worked, but then you got like Scary Movie and Scary Movie 3, and they weren't that funny, were they? Do you know what I mean? It wears off. It wears off that kind of stuff, and that was
It's very of the time. Although Airplane, to me, Airplane is the only one that withholds the test of time because all the other ones make too many references, like pop culture references that don't hold up.
Yeah, I tried watching Naked Gun with my 14-year-old son about a couple of months ago, and he got bored and wandered off halfway through, which and to be honest, I don't blame him because it did feel a bit dated. Whereas when I was a 14-year-old, Naked Gun was the absolute pinnacle of humour. There was no finer. You know what I mean? I was on the floor rolling around. So
I'll tell you a good one. Hot Shots. There was nothing better than Hot Shots and Hot Shots Part 2. Charlie Sheen.
Part 2.
Yes. Charlie Sheen.
That was amazing.
Charlie Sheen getting high on cocaine and making a comedy. Making a spoof. That was great.
Having Mr. Bean say, I can't go anywhere. And he's like, why not? They've tied my shoelaces together. We got to get out of here. I can't go.
I think the equivalent these days would be something like Team America. And that was amazing. That was very funny. But it was a similar kind of silly humour, but slightly more, I don't know if it would be knowing or intelligent. I don't think you could really call it intelligent, but yeah.
What's the funniest movie you've seen lately? I know comedy is subjective, blah, 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 but I'm trying to think of the funniest thing I've seen recently, and I don't even know. Oh, Thor Ragnarok. That Taika Waititi. I really liked Thor Ragnarok.
Yeah. That they don't really make proper just comedies anymore, do they? It's usually humor within the rest of within a wider context. It's like an action comedy rather than,
like the guy that makes the 40-year-old virgin movies. Like it's that.
Right, yeah. But that's like 25 years old.
Yeah, but he's always making movies still.
I don't know. The only film, there's only been 2 films that have been in tears in the cinema and uncontrollable laughter, and they're both by the same people. And it was South Park, Bigger, Longer, and Cut, and Team America. And I don't know why they were so funny to me, but I I could not control myself in parts of those when it would just to get anything right. And there's nothing
giggling.
And there's nothing you can. I'm giggling like a schoolgirl. There's nothing you could repeat on the podcast. The bits that I found hilarious, but it was just I don't know. It's that thing about almost shock being funny, isn't it? Really, but yeah, I really enjoyed those two. Hey, he's coming to the Dice Tower, isn't he? What's his face? Trey. What's his face? Trey Parker.
Yes. Isn't that weird?
That's one of your stretch goals. Oh, I meant to ask you about that. 100 games down? 100? Really?
100 kids games, no less, Gabby.
Oh my gosh. Are you going to be able to do it?
Well, I'm just going to say CoraQuest for each one. That's my plan.
And then number
Never
one,
want to miss a marketing opportunity.
Railways of the World.
No, I'm not going to do my games. I'm going to do kids games.
Oh, it's all
me and
kids
Cora.
games, really?
Yeah. Well, that's what I'm going to choose to do. Yeah, because Dan and Cora's top 100, so I'm going to do games that me and Cora play together. And I've got 150 kids games. So I'll just knock 50 of them out. I mean, granted, the 100 to 90 list is going to be pretty, barrel scraping. But I think that's. If you talk to anyone who does one of those top, I was talking to Gary Pope who did one once, and he was saying it was an absolute nightmare. I was thinking, oh, maybe I shouldn't.
Have you heard of tic-tac-toe?
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, number 98. Guess who? Actually, Guess Who probably will be on there because Cora loves it. But yeah.
I tried to watch. The Dice Tower just did their top 100, and I feel like most people just, unless you're just a diehard fan, you must skip over that until the top 20 or top 30 area.
Yeah, especially as they put them out so quickly after each other as well. It's not like one a week, is it? It's like they did 3. I think Mike will have been soaking his feet in
Epsom salt.
In Epsom salt. That's it. Yeah, after that, because I think it was a real marathon for all of them, really. Because I think they did the entire 100 in over the course of a week, and really that's 400 games they've all had to have an opinion on. I think I have struggled to have an opinion on 2 games, and I'm at 400 where you have to, discuss their merits and stuff.
Have you been able to play anything, or have you been focused mostly on getting this whole thing, CoraQuest Kickstarter, done?
It's more the lockdowns, to be honest, that stopped me playing anything. I've been playing a lot of kids' games. I've been playing a lot of games with Cora. Occasionally play a game of Wingspan with my son because he likes that. But my wife's not really into games, so we don't play games together. And I got, as we were talking about before the episode started, I got so fed up with Tabletop Simulator that I don't get any enjoyment out of it. I always think I am, and I enjoy spending the first half an hour with my friends.
Right.
Getting quite excited about talking to them and joking around and stuff like that. And then it kind of degenerates slowly over to kind of, whose turn is it? And then just silence. It's just... unless you're playing a half an hour game, a simple half an hour game where you can laugh and joke and all that kind of stuff, it's just excruciating by the end of it.
I agree 100%. We played Dwellings of Eldervale. I played with the Superboard Sunday guys, Brian and Christian and Jim, and I was looking forward to it because that's a hot game, Dwellings of Eldervale, and it was a 5-hour affair from the time I logged on to Tabletop Simulator time it was done, and I'm sure in real life it may be okay. It reminded me a lot of Rise of Tribes, which I hated. I kickstarted and hated, but I don't know. Me and Jerry have been Board Game Arena. Yokohama, Board Game Arena. We've played that like 5 or 6 times so far. Jerry's on it all the time. Give me Board Game Arena any day. Point and click. That's all I want to do.
Yeah. I think it's great. I think it's very clever. I just don't think it replaces it for me, unfortunately. I don't know. It's very difficult for everything to survive this. Because it was all. I'm not making any sense here.
Use your words, Tim.
I'm trying to use my words. The beginning of the lockdown, the first time we were locked down, it was all novel and, we'll meet up weekly and we'll keep in contact and all this. And then it's just gone on and on and on. And it's getting to the point where I don't think I'm in favour of this COVID thing, guys. I don't like it. I've decided I'm not a fan. And the UK's this is our 3rd lockdown now. We're in a full lockdown again. And it's just like, it's the energy you have to try and maintain these things is just ebbed away slowly, and thank goodness I've had CoraQuest to do because I'm sure I would have sunk into a depression, if I'm honest. And also, thank goodness, I've got a job where I leave the house and I go and visit people and I interact with people. Because my wife's been working from home, so she's just been in the same four walls all the time. It's just I've had enough now. I've had enough. I don't like it. I've made my mind up.
Okay.
Hello?
Jerry.
What? Oh.
Jerry, you there?
Yeah, no, I thought you were picking that up.
Did you fall asleep? Oh, my God.
No, we were talking about CoraQuest, and all of a sudden you started talking about singing and dancing, and it just kind of went off the rails there, which is fine.
It's all right. We don't have to... Yeah.
But you're hating on Tabletop Simulator, which I must concur. I have not. I enjoyed the novelty of it when it first started off, but now I've really switched to Board Game Arena. I need something that's a little more on the rails, point and click, and not this 3D representation. I don't need that, and it's kind of. It really has kind of. I do love Board Game Arena much more than the 3D representation of Tabletop Simulator. It's just it's annoying to me.
It's so tedious. It's just so. I don't have to click with my left on the mouse, then push a W to scan up on the board where I want to go. Oh, they're not there, so I need to go A and then S, then D, then drop it. Oh, it fell off to the side. I got to pick it up again. Oh my God.
Right.
I picked up the entire deck by mistake. I'll tell you where it is very useful, though, and I have used it a lot, is playtesting CoraQuest, because I've been doing that with people, and that's been incredibly useful. Just to bring it back. Yeah, no, that wasn't intentional, but a lot of designers I've seen have said that it's an incredibly useful tool to playtest, and they think they will go forward even doing that, because it means you can do it with people from all over the world who aren't sick of the sight of you. So that's a positive thing.
Right. Well, unfortunately, my wife has begun kind of playing board games since the lockdown. We've played several games that we've both of us have really enjoyed. And here particularly, I don't know if y'all, the Spiral Desires nominee, My City by Reiner Knizia. We have been...
All right, yeah.
Yes. I happened to pick that up here recently, and we're about halfway through it. It's a legacy game. But I mean, there's you can play the legacy game, but then there's also just a generic game in the box, where it's a tetra nomino game where you're kind of piecing together your city, and it's exactly the type of thing I do not like. But it has really caught on with us, and we've been really enjoying it. Mm. And
he knows what he's doing. Is that Reiner Knizia, though? To be fair,
yeah, he knows, and I mean, it's just my wife has expressed time and time again that it starts off very slow. And then it just ramps up. Like each chapter, there's a new rule, or there's a variation on a rule, or there's a different little twist each time that makes the game a little bit different. And it's really easy to score. It's really quick to play. And I mean, just last night, I think we sat down and went through 2 chapters of it, which is like 6 games, like 6 separate times of building your city out with these little pieces on the board, then wiping them clean and starting over. And if you're the type that really likes those types of games, that what's that Indian Summer? That's Tetra Nomino. What is the other game, Gabby, that we really liked?
Cottage Garden.
Yeah, Cottage Garden. Patchwork. Things of that nature. This game is pretty awesome.
So playing a good game with your wife, I hope you had some graham crackers nearby.
Oh yeah.
Does it feel like? Because sometimes with legacy games, I just feel like all I'm doing is opening a new expansion every 3 games. I get a bit frustrated by the amount of rules you have to know by the end of it. And if you leave it for too long, then you're left kind of... That's what happened to me with Pandemic Legacy. I couldn't face finishing it off because I knew I'd have to read 7,000 new...
Well, I hate legacy games. Just... Number one, just generally, that's how it feels like to me. You're just having to add a little something onto it each time. But in My City, what I have found... The first couple of games is just teaching you the scoring and, the various layout of how to play the game. But the rules that it adds so far into it have been one-off rules for that chapter. So a chapter is generally like 3 games. And so it's like, on this chapter, this rule applies. You can't, I don't want to spoil anything, but it takes one little rule and either takes something away or adds it to it. You can't build on this portion of the board, or you have to do this. You changes your objective. And it's neat because you play it for that chapter, and there was one particular chapter that we just went through that we did not like at all. I mean, it was particularly rough in terms of scoring and just trying to, figure out what you needed to do. And then, we played, 3 games of it, and then we're done. We're on the next chapter, and it's like, okay, so we no longer are constricted by that one rule we didn't like. It's now on to something else.
Right, okay, yeah.
And so it really keeps, it's very light for what it is. It does not pile on the rules. I mean, it spoon feeds them to you, and the few that are legacy type rules that change the game entirely, or at least it seems like it changes it throughout the rest of the game, those are very easy to remember. They're very easy and intuitive. So far, I've been really liking it, and it's certainly not the type of game that I like playing.
Okay, and it obviously plays well with two. I might actually look into that because I wouldn't mind a new game to. I haven't been very excited about games for a while, other than CoraQuest, which is come to Kickstarter tomorrow, so you'll all be out. But other than CoraQuest, I haven't really been February the 1st, yeah. So, and this is going out after February the 1st, so I don't know why I say it's already on Kickstarter. Quick, go get it, buy it quick before it sells out. It's not going to sell out.
Deluxe edition, metal coins. Minis.
I hate metal coins in games. Just grab a coin. Matthew Jude says it, and he's completely right. Just grab a handful of coins from your pocket. There you go. Metal coins. You're not exactly excited by that, are you? So why are you excited about these?
I hate
ones?
metal. I love using metal coins in games.
Yeah.
I hate the fact that Gabi goes out and every game he buys, he tries to buy metal coins for it instead of just
Hey, we played Yokohama, and you're like, ooh, these metal coins are nice.
Yes, because they're the generic metal coins that I said, just buy you a bag full of generic metal coins and leave them out and just use those. Don't buy a set of metal coins for every game you own. That's what I don't understand. I like metal coins.
I will, and I don't care.
Well, that's fine. I like metal coins, but I do not understand why you have to have a separate set for each game that you own.
Dan.
Yes.
Question for you. This is from emailer Lindsay. Not specifically for you. But
I was going to say.
Just an email. Don't flatter yourself. How important is winning a game to your board game experience?
Now, the egotist in me would say, oh, not important at all. I'm in there for the game and the company, but the reality, in reality, is. I tell you what, I'll enjoy a game a lot more if I win. And yeah, if someone after I come away from a game where I've come dead last, if someone says, "Is that a good game?" I'll say, "Well, it's all right. It's not good. It's got."
I'm the same.
If I win a game, then I'm certainly a lot more a lot more in favour of it than if I lose a game. But I think that's reasonable. I think in games that you get and that grok with you, as they say, or click with you, I think it's perfectly fine that you enjoy games that you seem to kind of get on an intrinsic level. For a long time, yeah, games like Lorenzo Magnifico, I just seem to get that, and I love it. Whereas games like Lisboa, I couldn't get it at all, so I didn't really enjoy it. And I think that's a completely reasonable way to be.
I'm the same way, although maybe I've gotten so used to losing. I replied in the email. I was like, it's the cherry on top, for me.
Yeah.
But if it's a game I enjoy, I do just enjoy playing the game. Winning is a plus. But I've gotten to the point where even when I'm teaching a game to people that don't know the game, they're not gamers, I always lose. And I've just become accustomed to being a loser. So at this point, I'm like, winning, sure, that's great. But I have to choose a game I actually enjoy. Otherwise, winning is just,
yeah.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say I don't like, I don't like any games I lose. Because, I lose more than I win. But but you can still get a game and not win it, can't you? That's the other thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you know where the term grok comes from?
I think it's programming. I think it's from programming. I think they're people who grok. I could be wrong. I can look it up.
I think you're incorrect. I think it's from Robert A. Heinlein in a book, Stranger in a Strange Land.
Oh, okay. I apologize.
Right. As you well should. The man was a Martian, and he came back to Earth, and he had these special powers, but he grokked the way mankind was operating and stuff. And they used that term in a Robert A. Heinlein book, grok. And I was like, that's where this term come from. And then I looked it up, and apparently that's where it comes from.
You are right. It's from the 1961 novel called Stranger in a Strange Land.
I read that book. It started off super cool. Yes, I was like, I got to read this book because it's sci-fi. Robert A. Heinlein is this sci-fi guy. And then it got into this deep philosophy about silence and religion and sex. And I was like, I'm out. It went past the X-Men stage of the book into high philosophy. And I was like, oh, it's gone beyond my brain.
Yeah,
but it
pass.
It was fine.
One of my favourite books growing up was Battlefield Earth by L. Ron Hubbard, so I'm quite lucky I'm not a Scientologist at this point.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it. Yeah.
Your theon or metal chlorine level wasn't high enough.
Exactly. I went to university in a place where there was... Anyway, better not talk about Scientologists because you'll get sued. So... They're a bit aggressive with all that kind of stuff, aren't they?
We've got Leah Remini on our side.
Oh, I don't know who that is. Who's Leah Remini? Is she one of the Star Wars people?
She's from King of Queens.
King of Queens, that's right. I knew it was one of those shows. Yeah, and she used to be a Scientologist.
And also Saved by the Bell when Zach Morris went to the beach for his week vacation that summer.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I remember that. I remember that episode.
Yeah, that was
Classic
Leah Remini.
Saved by the Bell episode.
I'm thinking we should leave it here because I don't know where else to take this because you've really...
No, we're going to start talking about Paul from the Wonder Years in a minute.
Yeah, and that's what I'm trying to avoid. I don't want to take this deep dive down into the...
No one wants that.
Nobody wants that.
No one wants that.
I think we're good. We've shielded CoraQuest. I feel as if people know about graham crackers and mummy coloring and things of that nature.
Yeah.
I think that people who know Dan, everybody knows Dan. He's the sporadically bored guy. He's the guy Dan and Cora on the Dice Tower. So if you want to send him hate mail, just send it to tom@thedicetower.com and
that's it.
And there you go. That's it.
With nudes.
With nudes for the CoraQuest expansion.
Could people please not send Tom Vassell nudes and say, could he pass them on to Dan Hughes, please? Because he would not appreciate that at all, I don't think.
Okay, so don't do that. Don't do that. Send them directly to Mike Delicious Toes at Hotmail. That's HOTMALE.com. And send that's Dan's agent.
Well. I told you guys about the time I was showing my dad what the internet was, didn't I? And because I'm an atrocious speller, and so I said, and this is the email, program, and I typed in Hotmail, but it wasn't MAIL. I misspelled that one and came up with a website that my dad was not expecting to see.
I didn't know you had mail in Britain. I thought you had post. I thought it would be Hot Post.
Hot Post.
Anyways, Gabi, sign us off.
Well, that's going to do it for this episode of Board Game Snobs. Thank you, Dan, for being on. Dan, any last words?
Well, if anyone does want to have a look at CoraQuest, then you can find it over on Kickstarter. And if you want to have a look at the website, it's CoraQuest.com. But Kickstarter's got all the information you need. A video by Mike Delicious Toes himself is on that page.
Yes, check out his OnlyFans page. And as for me and Jerry, we're the Board Game Snobs. Email us at boardgamesnobs.com. No, wait. boardgamesnobs@gmail.com. Follow us on Facebook. Follow Dan at Sporadically Bored on Facebook and all his Dice Tower stuff. And that's going to do it for this episode. Dan, thanks for coming on.
Thank you very much for having me, guys. I really appreciate it.
Bye-bye.
All righty.
Thank you for listening to the Board Game Snobs. Stay classy.